Hi there. Today is Thursday, October 21st. My name is Mr. Newman. This is 8th grade English Language Arts at Hanby Middle School, and this is today's class recap. So we began class today with 13 minutes of work in No Red Ink. If you have not yet logged into No Red Ink or you haven't been making progress in that area, make sure that you sign in. You're looking for the assignment which says Identifying Parts of Speech 1. Okay. As you make progress through this, once you reach a point of mastery, you'll see a quiz come up. If you're curious about how to access No Red Ink otherwise, if you look at assignments from last Wednesday and Thursday, you will see No Red Ink instructions. Okay, so the first 13 minutes of class, if you have this document open, the English Language Arts Planner, you can use the timer in the upper right-hand corner to work for 13 minutes in No Red Ink. All right. Second up on the docket, we have the beginnings of our character letter. And so, the character letter is, sorry, I'm going to delete that because that changed. The character letter is something that you will write based on the book that you are reading that addresses an element of character from pages R6 to R9 in your notebook. So, I have an example of one of these right here. Okay. So this is a mock-up of what your final draft will look like, and we'll work on these next Monday in class. So you're going to write me a letter. If you had Mr. Shoup or me last year, you're familiar with letters. If you had Miss Laws in 6th grade, you're familiar with letters. If you had Mr. Shoup, this letter looks a little bit different than letters that you've written in the past. If you had me, well, it's similar. Okay, so your letter is going to include, you're going to start with a date and then a salutation. What you'll see on the left side here is this is color-coded. All of this stuff is like, these are the requirements of your letter. And we're going to build towards this. So by the time you start writing next Monday, you will have planned everything you need to say. So we start with the requirements of the letter. And the first paragraph, you introduce the book. So this is the book that you're reading. So what I said is every book is going to start with, or every letter is going to start with a sentence. The book I'm reading is blank by blank. So in this case, the book I'm reading is Under a Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan. So now in red, I need 2 or 3 sentences where I introduce the genre, the main characters, the setting, and the plot. So just kind of an overview. I'm introducing the book to you. Okay, this is the book I'm reading, Beneath the Scarlet Sky. It's a really good book. All right. So here I say, this book is a historical fiction novel. That's the genre. Set in Italy during World War II. That's the setting. While it's based on a true story, many of the details are fictionalized. The story centers around a 17-year-old named Pino. He's the main character. Who is working with the Italian resistance, first by guiding Jews through the mountains to escape to Switzerland, and then as an undercover informant in the German army. That was an overview of the plot. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is comment on my experience reading the book. So I say it's both suspenseful and captivating. I started by reading the author's preface and was hooked before I read the first word. If I didn't know that many of the events were real, I wouldn't believe the story. Yet I continue to find myself on edge of my seat. Now, my book's about 530 pages long. It's pretty big. You can see where I've read to. It's like about 270, something like that. So when I talk about this book, I'm not talking about the book as a whole. I'm talking about this part that I've read. If you're like right here, maybe you want to do the last book you read because, trying to talk about 20 pages, it might be hard. So in my second paragraph, I'm going to introduce an element of character. And when I talk about this, I mean, in our assignment, these are the 8 elements of character. So there's physical description and background and personality and relationships and words and actions and motivation and conflict and change. And these are the same notes that you have on page R6 to R9 in your notebook. If you need a cheat sheet for what these are, I've included it. It says you'll see this in yours, and it's like the 8 elements of character. It's M.R.A. Fisher, Weebly, whatever. When you go there, what you'll see is that here are all of the elements of character along with some of the guiding questions. So you're going to need to choose one of these and choose a guiding question. So if I chose personality, my guiding question might be, what kind of person is she? If I chose words and actions, my guiding question might be, what does the person say and do? Okay. If I chose conflict, my guiding question might be, is there conflict within the character, and how is this shown in the novel? Okay. So either way, you're going to need to choose one of those, because in your letter, you're going to talk about that. So I chose motivation. And so my topic sentence, I introduced the element of character and the question. I would like to focus on Pinot's motivations, specifically in response to the question, why does he do what he's trying to do? And I pulled that directly off of this page on motivation. Why does your character do what she is trying to do? My character is a he, so it's why does he do what he's trying to do? So that's the question I'm trying to answer. So then I answer it. I think Pinot was motivated first by his faith and a belief in humanity, and second by patriotism. Now in this paragraph, I need to introduce a quote, and I need to choose a quote that also shows his motivation. So to do that, I can't just drop the quote in there. I need to tell you about it. So I need to give you a little bit of background. That's the context. Then I'm going to quote it word for word out of the book, and I'm putting it in quotation marks. And then finally, I'm going to explain why I think that quote answers the question, why does he do what he's trying to do? Okay, so I'm going to read my whole paragraph. I'd like to focus on Pinot's motivations, specifically in response to the question, why does he do what he's trying to do? I think Pinot was motivated first by faith and a belief in humanity, and second by patriotism. The quote I've chosen is on page 168, make sure you identify where you find it, where Pinot is arguing with his parents about their desire that he join the Nazi army where they have contacts to keep him safe. Okay, so there's my background. Now here's my quote. He responds with, quote, do you know what I've been doing the past 6 months? I've been leading Jews and refugees over the Gropera into Switzerland to escape the Nazis, people who think nothing of machine gunning innocent people. I won't do it. So he's saying, I won't join the Nazi army. Okay. So now I have to explain, I have to make the connection. How does that quote support motivation? So I say, in this moment, Pinot makes clear that his motivation is to continue to serve the resistance regardless of the risk, rather than the safer choice. It previews his later decision to become an informant for the resistance, even as he served the highest-ranking Nazi general in Italy. Okay, that's important. Now, paragraph 3, I offer the reader a final thought, just something I was thinking about as I read. And I said, when I read stories like this, I'm reminded both of how simple my daily decisions seem in comparison and how much others are willing to risk for what they believe in. Sometimes I question whether I would have the strength to do the same. And I sign my name. So you're going to get here. Next Monday, you're going to write a wonderful letter that's a lot like this. But we're going to start on a simple level. So when you open this assignment up, you've got a document with your name on it that says CL number 1, initial planning. Your goal today, you just want to collect the details. Okay? So you're going to fill out the title, author, and genre of your book. You have your genre notes on R4 and R5 in your notebook. You're going to fill in who the main characters are. Not all the characters, but the central ones. Okay? The setting, where does your story take place? And then I want you to pick out 5 details or events in the story that have happened so far. Kind of major things. That's like the plot. Okay? Comment on your experience as a reader. Same thing that I said there. So when you read it, what's it like for you? What do you notice? And why? And then finally here, you're going to choose the element of character that you're going to focus on. This is where you go back to this sheet or to your notes, and you choose one of these: conflict, motivation, words and actions, relationships, personality. Okay, so choose that. And then it says, central question you'll explore. So again, if you chose personality, it's one of these 2 questions. If you chose background, it's one of these 6 questions. Okay? If you chose relationships, it's one of these. You cannot choose physical description. It's not an option. Okay? So this is CL number 1, initial planning. Tomorrow, we're going to look at organizing information for the second paragraph. So remember, everything that you do here, you're going to use this on your letter. Turn it in when you're done. Email me if you have any questions, and I'll see you tomorrow.